Grant Haffner is a contemporary American painter who's originally from California, but spent most of his life in New York and now lives in Massachusetts. He's known for his vibrant landscapes that use bright lines of colors to show perspective and depth. Perspective is the view from where you are. In a landscape, there are three parts: the foreground, which is the front, the middle ground, which is the middle, and the background, which is what is far away in the distance. The objects in the foreground appear largest, and the objects in the background appear smallest because they are further away from the viewer. Changing the size of objects in your landscape shows depth. Grant Haffner almost always includes utility poles that add a sense of depth shown in his landscapes. The further back the poles are, the smaller they appear. He includes utility poles since they're a common symbol seen along American roadways. He hopes that viewers recognize these and feel a sense of connection and nostalgia. He's inspired by the roads, sunsets, and bodies of water that surround him where he lives. He says, "My work exaggerates and explores the intersections of the sky and the open road." He also says that no two sunsets are the same. He also says, "My paintings allow the viewer to escape life, get behind the wheel, and follow the flow of forward motion and momentum. Remember the white and yellow lines of the road, straight roadways, and power lines." Before we begin our painting, I would like to try drawing some one-point perspective. That means we're going to draw some small squares on our sketchbook and choose within that square where we're going to put our horizon line. The horizon line is where everything disappears into the distance. One good rule of thumb is to choose a horizon line location that's either close to 1/3 of the bottom of your paper or 1/3 of the top of your paper. So you're making a choice between making more ground or more sky. If you want to, you can also put it a little bit closer to the center and see how it works. So I'm going to write the word horizon line. It's where the road meets the sky, or where the ground meets the sky. Somewhere along this horizon line, you're going to choose a vanishing point. So make a dot. When you have a dot, you are going to make all of your lines from your road or in your fields come from that vanishing point. All lines will converge from there. So notice I'm lining up the edge of my cardboard, or you can use a ruler, and making lines come straight from that dot. That could be my road. And then I'm just going to add some more lines that will become a part of my painting. Maybe they're the momentum lines of racing past curbs or bushes, racing past little trees, or parts of a field. And you can also use a straight edge to draw the center of your road, a dashed line or a double yellow line. And notice that those dashes should become larger and longer as they get closer. Your yellow lines will also get larger as they get closer. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit to show you how I draw additional lines with my straight edge that come straight out of that dot. And now I would like you to try at least one version of a landscape with a horizon line and a vanishing point that has a curved feature, like a curved road or a curved river or curved path. So give yourself another picture plane that is square and choose your horizon line. Put it someplace a little bit different on this picture. You can add features to your art kind of after you get the main curves of the line down. So there I did a curvy road, making sure that they converge into the vanishing point that I chose there on the left. And then I'm going to follow the contours of that to kind of show the fields and the landscape to the side of my road. You can decide how you want your sky to be. Sometimes Grant Haffner just used vertical lines to remind us of a sunset or a sunrise. Sometimes there are even clouds in the sky, or it's a night sky that has some dark striations that come from ambient light hitting the clouds. You can even add things like buildings and utility poles at the end of your piece. On this small scale, it might be easier for you to freehand some elements. I'm using converging lines also on my mountains in the background. I'm going to label my horizon line again here on this piece. And I'm also going to do a small experiment over here where I use converging lines to show a sky that recedes into the background. Sometimes you look up into the sky and you can see that the clouds are larger up front and a little bit smaller, a lot smaller far away. So practice anything that seems interesting to you in your sketchbook before we begin on our painting. We'll have some super bright colors available in our acrylic paints, and you'll be working on a large square piece of board. I'll also have some examples and some different instructions from different people about how they created their painting. So this is the board you will get once you've done some sketches in your notebook, and your next job will be to create some lines that will guide your painting.